Welcome to Breaking Boundaries. We're so excited to have you join us. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule to join us. My name is Sherif Gemayel, CEO of Trufla Technology, and with me I've got
I'm Thomas Berry, an account executive here at Trufla. I just want to say big thanks for joining us all here on LinkedIn Live for our very first LinkedIn Live.
the very first live event, and it is live, live, live. You've got cameras. I got my little clicker. We're likely going to mess something up along the way, but let's jump right into it. Before we get to some of the amazing announcements that we have today, I wanted to take it back a little bit to kind of how we got to this moment here. Some of you may know, a lot of you may know, that earlier this year, I sold my brokerage, Sharp Insurance, which was kind of my baby that I started back in 2009. And I sold it for a number of reasons. A lot of people are asking, why did you sell it? And I sold because you kind of realize after a few years that you can't really be all things to all people. You can't be great at everything, especially when your focus is split up between running and operating a brokerage and running and operating a technology company. And a lot of brokers were saying to us over the last few years, well, are you actually our competitor or are you our partner? We kind of like a lot of the technology that you're doing, but you're also competing against us in the market. And we kind of learned, the hard way over the years that you really can't be both a competitor and a partner at the same time, the same vein. So decided, to focus our efforts, and a lot of people know that my passion is really on the technology side. So I decided to focus on Trufla and sold Sharp. And what have we been doing over the last 6 months? Well, we've been doing lots of different things. We focused on us first to make sure that we are beefing up our support to offer amazing service to our customers. Wow service is actually one of our core values here at Trufla. So that was something we really focused on. And then we needed to make sure our infrastructure could handle scale and that it was really secure as well, because a lot of the stuff that we were doing obviously deals with sensitive information. And we were doing that while building some amazing technology that we're going to announce today to really energize and focus on brokerages.
Sharif, we've got a couple hundred people here in the chat and a few more actually here in the office. I'm sure we're all dying here. Like, what are the big announcements for today?
Okay, let's just jump right into it. First big announcement that we're making today is, as of now, True Mobile is now free. True Mobile is our flagship product. It's used by brokers across the country, and it is now free for all brokerages. We want every brokerage in the company to have their own broker-branded mobile app. And when we say free, we mean like free. No setup fees, no contracts, no long-term commitments. Free. And that's all of the features that we have now on our mobile app, plus some more that we're going to announce today. And really, a little bit of a biased opinion, but we believe it is one of the most powerful tools on the market right now, and really designed to energize and empower your brokerage. And aside from being a really cool and awesome technology that brings basically the most common user experiences to your brokerage, it's really a great tool. It's environmentally friendly. You get to distribute your documents. Clients get their documents online. There's lots of really big benefits to it.
Sharif, so as a salesperson, I love free because it's the easiest product to sell when it's free. And I'm sure there's lots of salespeople on this call who agree with me, but I got to ask, why are we going free? What's another reason?
And a lot of you are probably asking that question too. Why are you offering a free digital, this tool free? Well, True Mobile was actually the mobile app was the product, the tool that really started the digitization project, the digitization journey of Sharp Insurance when I owned Sharp. And from there, really kind of took us to a different place in terms of where we got to digitally. And so when we were looking at our business and kind of what we wanted to do, we realized that this was probably a great place to get brokers kicked off and energized on their digital journey. And the reality is, we know you're under pressure to digitize. And brokers have a little bit of a disadvantage when it comes to their purchasing power or having access to relevant technology because of costs or barriers along the way. And this really was our way to be able to support the broker channel and really prove why the broker channel is the number one way to service and distribute insurance in the industry, period. And I was once a broker. I mean, I understand a lot of those challenges and the pressures that are coming from the industry, whether it's from carriers, whether it's from regulators, whether it's from consumers that are looking for these new experiences, especially in after COVID. And a lot of this pressure is causing brokers to exit the market prematurely. And we really don't want brokers to exit the market prematurely or to lose to direct writers or insurtechs or anything like that. In fact, a lot has been happening lately in the technology world as it relates to distribution. Just yesterday, Lemonade announced that it is acquiring Metromile, so they're kind of combining forces. And it's really an interesting story because if you look at what's happened over the last, call it 18 months or so, Lemonade went public in July 2020, big fanfare. Metromile, IPO'd in November 2020, big fanfare. Both of their stocks peaked in February 2021. And since then, something really interesting has happened. Lemonade's stock has dropped 65% since its highs. In fact, I think it's still hovering around its IPO price from July 2020. And Metromile was down about 85% off its highs. As of yesterday, early day, it was down about 70% from when it IPO'd in November. It's since picked up since the announcement yesterday a little bit. But really what we think is they've learned that distributing direct to consumers is not as easy as thought, especially in such a competitive space as insurance. And so they pivoted recently and are now offering their product to independent agencies and brokerages across the US to accelerate that distribution. Aside from that, a lot of articles have been written over the last few years about how digitizing your brokerage actually increases the marketability of your brokerage and the value of your brokerage. And so by us doing this, we're trying to bring a lot of that value to the market, to your brokerage. So a lot of you may not quite know what TrueMobile is or what it all encompasses. So Thomas, do you want to take a minute to explain it to everyone?
For sure, yeah. I'm seeing a the stream here. So just a quick what is TrueMobile? TrueMobile is a branded mobile app and web portal. TrueMobile puts your customers first by giving your customers control of their insurance policy. It gives your customers the ability to access their documents, their pink slips, submit change requests, claims, all from their phone, tablet, or desktop. It really puts your brokerage in charge of the customer relationship and puts your brand first. And Sherif, I have an old stat, but basically it's true that people look at their phone about 96 times a day, and that was pre-COVID. I know ever since COVID, I look at my phone at least 100 times a day. I am live streaming with you guys right now, and I'm got one eye on my phone on the desk just over there.
Most people, you can't pry their phone from their hands.
Exactly.
I mean, it's an important thing.
It's a constant in business now, right? Is to have a mobile channel, and what better way to put your brokerage and kind of own that customer relationship than having your app on their phone, having your brand, your logo on their phone. So when customers think about their insurance policy, they're thinking about your brokerage. When they're thinking about peace of mind, they're thinking about your brokerage. And again, TrueMobile pulls in policies from all different carriers, all into one single interface. So that way, no matter what coverage no matter what coverage your customer has or what carrier they're with, it can all be displayed in one mobile app with one login.
Basically giving your customers the ability to have a unified experience when they're dealing with your brokerage, and not a broken experience by downloading various different apps from different carriers and whatnot.
Exactly. And I'm sure there's probably some brokers on this call. I hear it a lot saying, why do I need an app? My brokerage, I don't think we need one. Or, we're a more traditional shop, so we don't need an app. And I want to talk to you a little bit about customer experience and how it's changing throughout the industry. Your customers want text, they want email, they want push notifications. That's how they're used to communicating. That's really how they interact with all the other businesses they work with, from grocery shopping to online banking.
Think about how you interact with companies like Amazon right now. I mean, there really isn't a company that doesn't have an app, and most of your experience, going back to Amazon, is through a mobile app. You don't really go back to the site anymore. You do your ordering, you manage your refunds, you track your package, you kind of do everything through the mobile app. And you probably don't even look at some of the email communications that come through, because you get a push notification and they're constantly interacting with you through their app.
Yeah. So more and more communications going mobile, and that's how customers want to be interacted with, and that's how they prefer to interact with certain businesses. But let's put the customers aside for a minute, and let's focus on brokers. Your brokers, your staff want a mobile app. If you've been to any of the Amplify conferences or been to any of the broker association conferences, I am sure there's at least 1 hour, probably 2 or 3 hours, all dedicated to the talent crunch facing the insurance industry. There is a war for talent, not just in insurance, but I'd say across every industry. Your brokers are being asked to do more tasks with the same amount of people. And honestly, your brokers are licensed, experienced professionals, and they should be focused on building customer relationships and placing difficult risks, not inputting information into different portals and different BMSs.
For sure. And as a broker owner previously, I know some of the most frustrating thing, one of the most frustrating things is using that, that talent, that educated, licensed talent, to do things that you can really empower your customers to do on their own, whether it's copies of their policies, change requests, simple change requests, address, find out when their payments are, things like that, to free up your people's time to be able to do the task that they were hired to do, which is providing amazing service, analyzing risk, and protecting your customers.
Yeah, don't waste good talent on data entry. TrueMobile has been proven to reduce the time spent on the phone and processing simple tasks. TrueMobile has the power to prove the profitability of your brokerage, and your customers and your employees will thank you for it. So real quick, if you're not familiar with what TrueMobile is, we're going to quickly run through some of the more important features. So as I mentioned, it is a broker-branded app and online portal. It has the ability to bring in policies from multiple carriers, all displayed in a single interface, and all that data is stored for up to 2 years. It gives your clients the ability to submit changes, submit change requests, view payment information, and make a payment. And Sherif, I got to ask, as our resident broker, you not only built the app with Trufla, but then you had to deploy the app at Sharp Insurance. What would you say was harder?
By far, it was getting adoption and getting people to use the app. That is always the toughest part. Breaking old habits and getting people into new habits is really tough.
And we see that all the time, which is why at Trufla we focus exclusively on helping you onboard your clients, helping you onboard your brokers, and we have regular broker training, as well as we help you with marketing, creating marketing materials and providing marketing support, just to really get people excited about the app, using the app, and downloading the app.
I mean, the reality is, if you're not getting that adoption up, you're not going to see the real value, and you're not going to see that return on investment, for your brokerage. You won't see that profitability and those efficiencies that we're talking about.
Yeah, and this wouldn't be much of an announcement if we didn't also introduce some new features. So in addition to all of the previous features that were already in TrueMobile, just getting stronger and better, we really want to announce our newest feature, which is our automated communication platform. So we see that brokers are looking to automate and to find efficiencies in their workload. So we are going to automate 3 of your most common transactions, and that includes your new business, your change request, and your renewals.
And when we say automate, we basically mean that you'll be able to set trigger emails for when these transactions come in. It'll send the email off to your client. It'll attach the documents for your client as well, so that it frees up some of the time. So they always have a digital copy, but of course, always referring them back to the app to download, to see the history and whatnot.
Yep. So going forward, there will be a welcome emails for new business that sends the documents and encourages the user to download the app and start getting set up within the app to make a lifelong customer. There'll be upon a successful change request, it'll trigger an email that sends the new documents to your customer, and on a renewal, automated email will go to your clients with the renewal documents. So to summarize everything, Sherif, basically it's True Mobile plus 3 new automated emails, all completely free.
Yeah, and what a lot of brokers tend to ask us is, well, what really powers True Mobile? How do you get that data in there? Because Thomas mentioned, we're getting it from various carriers and whatnot. But I really want to take a minute first to distinguish between a couple things. Between what is your customer list and your book of business, and what data is, right? If you think about it, your brokerage's most valuable asset, what your brokerage is actually built on, is your book of business, right? Your book of business is made up of the data points, right? That helps you assess the risk and whatnot. But really, your most valuable asset is that book of business. It's the client list, and we recognize that. I mean, most brokers don't own their buildings. They lease an office. They don't manufacture any product. They own some cars and some furniture and whatnot. And even when it comes to finance and whatnot, premium financing, it's usually done with a third party or direct with the carrier.
I was going to say, I think even these cameras and lights are rented for today.
Yeah, like there isn't a lot that is owned, and the value really is in the book of business. And so adding on top of that, your commitment to amazing service, amazing risk analysis for your clients and advice. I mean, that really is what makes up the value of the brokerage. And your data, those data points, that we're talking about, is really what can amplify and add more value to that asset, to your brokerage's main asset, which is the client list, especially if you are a brokerage that puts the client first. The data can be used in so many ways. So it can tell who your most profitable customers are or who isn't. It can help you remarket the client, find the best price, find the best coverage for your client. It can help you find cross-sell opportunities to be able to offer more to your clients, ensuring they're fully covered with the best possible products. Lots of different things that the data can do for you. And the reality is, data is what makes the world go round. Right? We're in a data-focused world right now.
So, Sherif, if brokers have to all this data, what can brokers do with their data right now?
Sadly, not a lot, right? There's a few challenges that brokers face when it comes to the data piece, right? One is access to the data, right? It's one thing to have your client, your list, your book of business, but actually having access to that data is really a challenge. One. Two, there's a big cost associated with actually analyzing the data and trying to extract any kind of meaningful intelligence, right? Especially with a lot of the expensive tools, AI tools, and having to hire someone pretty smart to be able to extract that kind of intelligence comes with a lot of costs. But a bigger issue is actually the size of the database, how much data you actually have. And there really isn't any one broker, maybe 1, 2 in the country, that have enough data and depth of data and breadth of data that's spread out over a large area to be able to extract any kind of meaningful intelligence, which is why carriers tend to have amazing data because it's spread out over all brokers. All the brokers that sell their products, they bring in that data and they use that data to analyze it to offer better products, better cover, better pricing, whatever it may be. They use it to extract the intelligence, but a broker doesn't have enough data on their own. So what we've done is we've actually created one of the industry's largest data lakes that brings in all that data from brokers across the country into a database that comes in from carriers who distribute through brokers that operate within the CISIO guidelines. And we've created this data lake using anonymized data. And then we've hired some of the smartest people to be able to analyze data and extract meaningful intelligence to give it back to your brokerage.
So, Sherif, you mentioned anonymized data, and I kind of want to dig in a little bit deeper on exactly what anonymized data is.
For sure.
So at Trufla, we put security first and data integrity above all else. We value your customer list, just like Sherif said, and we want to protect it at all costs by anonymizing all data that comes into the True Mobile platform. Anonymized data, the best way to think of it is, think of a coffee filter. Imagine taking all of your data sources and pouring them into, through a coffee filter, or in this case, the Trufla data parser. As all the data passes through the filter, we remove things like the phone number, the contact info, the email address, name, even the brokerage's name. So it's impossible to figure out who that client is and who the broker was who sold it. We then take all that data, and you're left, once it goes through the filter, you're left with a nice warm pot of secure, anonymized data. And we use that data set to run analysis, apply AI and auditing tools, develop insights, test hypothesis, run regression testing, price elasticity testing. Basically, we've got a team of some of the smartest data scientists and insurance professionals here to create insights, look into your book, and provide you information on the overall marketplace. And honestly, Sherif, I think we're just scratching the surface when it comes to data. As the data set grows and as our strength in the data pool gets larger and larger, I think the outcomes are going to be amazing.
For sure. And today I'm going to announce, one of the first things that we've done with the data that we're giving back to brokerages. I'm so excited about this because I wish I had it as a broker, and that is Broker XRay. Broker XRay is one of the most powerful tools we've ever built for brokers, giving them data intelligence that they have never had before. That, again, I wish I had this kind of data for my brokerage. It would have made a huge difference. There's actually a lot more data in brokers' database that they could have even ever imagined. So what we did was we took the pooled anonymized data, built intelligence on top of it to help brokers maximize value out of their book, which is their most valuable asset. So the first X-ray that's being launched in January 2022 is the Premium X-ray. Here's what the Premium X-ray does. Basically, you put your book of business through the X-ray tool, and it will segment your clients into 3 separate color-coded buckets: red, yellow, green. If your client is segmented in the red bucket, that means that their current policy or their renewal policy is greater than 10% than what your client could find in the market should they go out and shop. Not just comparing it to the previous renewal if the premium went up, but actually comparing it to what they would pay out in the market. The worst call you can get as a broker is if your client calls and says, my premium didn't really go up, but I decided I was going to shop my policy this year and I could find something lower with another broker. And, did you actually shop it around? So we give you that intelligence, and we'll actually tell you what's the lowest market out there, which lowest carrier out there in the market, and which one you could place it within your brokerage to be able to get ahead, focus your team on those clients that are most at risk. If your client is put in the yellow bucket, that means that their premium or their renewal is lower than 10% than what they could find out in the market. That likely means that you're either leaving money on the table or your client may not have the right coverage. And we're going to help you right size it so that you can extract even more value out of your customer and really provide, you could sell additional riders, endorsements, increased policy limits, other policies, whatever it may be, to offer more to your customer than what they're paying, compared to what they're paying in the market, making your client even stickier. And if they're in the green bucket, that means they're plus or minus 10%. You can do the review with them, send them an email, tell them you've reviewed the policy, and they're not likely going to move their policy. They've kind of been righted with the industry. And that's just the first X-ray. A couple months after that, we're actually going to be launching our second X-ray, which is our coverage X-ray. What the coverage X-ray does is it goes through your book of business using AI, real AI, and it'll identify for you which of your clients you may potentially have an E&O exposure with. So we take certain data attributes from your clients and compare them to other clients in the broader data set that look like that client geographically, lifestyle, cars, homes, whatever it may be. And we offer suggestions as to what kind of coverage people like this would typically buy. Or you can set certain parameters on your book to say, hey, I want to make sure everyone in my book has a certain type of coverage. So because there's sometimes human error. Sometimes brokers miss putting on certain types of endorsements, coverage, limits, whatever it may be. So this scans your book to make sure that those errors are caught, because they can typically be found, especially in the event of a cat. And we're only scratching the surface of the type of intelligence that we're going to be able to give back to brokers. They've got so many ideas, but these are the first two data intelligent X-rays that we're coming out with, and we're so excited because it's going to bring real power and intelligence and value to your brokerage and to your clients ultimately. And there is other things outside of that intelligence that we can use the data for as well.
Yeah, and as we continue to bring in, outside data sources, the data is only going to get stronger and stronger. And actually, one of the reasons we're bringing all this data into a centralized spot is so we can launch our next big product, which is our data-driven communications platform. So we've given brokers the ability to build their own custom communications right within TrueMobile. This allows you to create personalized messages for your customers based on carrier, coverage, vehicles, home, basically anything you have in your data point or in your database as a data point. You can create a customized communication to your clients.
And we're talking communications that's far beyond email, right?
We're talking text messages, push notifications, even just inviting people back to the app where you can post a message for them. And I know you're probably wondering, why are you guys focused so much on mobile apps, email communications? And that's because privacy laws around the world are changing. Apple and Google have already made some updates to their platforms that make it harder to track emails, makes it harder to track open rates, and harder to identify customers as they move from different devices and different platforms.
Yeah, which is causing a lot of big problems for even some of the biggest companies out there, like Facebook, who aren't able to get those trackings back from the customer that affects their marketing and whatnot. Right? A lot of the privacy rules have really made it a lot tougher for companies to be able to really stay in touch, communicate with their clients with more traditional ways. But when a client downloads a mobile app, they are actually giving you implied consent, and they have the ability to turn notifications on and off on their own. And if they don't turn it off, that means you're still able to get that communication out to the client and be able to see if they've read it, if they've engaged with it, whatever it may be, in your own branded app.
Yeah, and no matter how you communicate, whether it's through text, email, or through push notification, bringing people back to the mobile app will allow you to verify that they did log in, they saw your messages, and everything is timestamped. So it just kind of protects you from any kind of ongoing E&O. And as Google and Apple take away some of this tracking ability, setting up an app is a great way to bring customers in and keep that tracking and keep some of that data on your customers.
For sure. And I mean, we've got real life examples of what this is used for. I mean, I had a brokerage. I've been through catastrophes. The one that kind of stands out for me is the Fort McMurray fires of 2016, which was a real challenge because it was so huge and affected a lot of our customers with various carriers. And had we had the ability to do these push notifications, SMSs and whatnot, we could have set up custom messages and communications directly to those clients for those carriers that could say, okay, if you're a client of Wawanisa's, this is where they've set up their cat response center. Go here so you can get your claim started, so you can get your emergency money. You're with Intact, go here. You're with Aviva, go here. Whoever it may be, you can set that up, and it shows real value to your customers. You can include the link for the map. It'll direct them to it. Like, there's so much that can be done to provide real value, to show as a broker how much you're thinking about your customer, especially when it comes to claim time, because that's when the rubber really hits the road.
Yeah, I think that's a great example of providing value outside of just the policy. I continue to think you could do things like, for houses once they get 50 years old, you could actually remind your customers to go get a roof inspection, or to go maybe add on a different bit of coverage just to cover their risks. So really, we are just scratching the surface when it comes to what we're going to be able to do with data and intelligence and communications.
So some of you are probably already thinking, okay, so you're giving away the mobile for free. You've got these amazing tools that you're launching. You're going to catch us somewhere. What's this going to cost us?
Again, just to reiterate from the top, True Mobile is now completely free. So no long-term commitments, no sign-up fees, and you get all of the same features that already exist in True Mobile, plus the 3 automated emails for your most reoccurring transactions, and that's new business, change request, and renewals. And for brokers looking to digitize a little more, the broker XRay and communication platform will be available for just $9.99 a month. And that is $9.99 a month, no matter how big your brokerage is, no matter how big your book is, and no matter how many emails and communication messages you send out through the app.
Yeah, we're trying to make it as simple and as accessible to as many brokerages as possible to really get value out of some of the intelligent communication that we've built out. But we've heard over the years that, okay, you build these cool tools and whatnot, and they stand on their own, great, but there's more to it than just integrated for BMS. So today we're announcing our first integration with Power Broker. We are full two-way integration with Power Broker. That means that it's going to have two-way data sync between your BMS, all your activities, contact information. All data will be streamed seamlessly between the two systems, because we know that your BMS is the center of your operation. It's your source of truth, and we recognize that, and we want that to stay as is. We're also really proud that we're working with almost all of the BMS vendors to build an integration, even the largest ones, because we recognize that every broker operates a little bit differently, and you need some of these tools, but you need it to be able to integrate seamless. There's no reason to have multiple different tools that don't talk. You've got all these broken experiences internally. It doesn't make for a great experience. But it's not just BMS integrations. We recognize that you have other partners that you work with as well, like the carriers. So we've already done connections with a number of carriers. Wawanisa, for example, we connect to their direct billing API. They've been such a great supporter of the broker channel, and now you can get live real-time billing inside of the mobile app through your portal, which again can communicate real-time. We announced a year and a half ago a connection with Intact and Client Center, so your clients can access your broker branded app and connect into Client Center, so they can still kind of get their claims experience and everything through there. But now it provides a unified experience for all of your carrier customers. And we've done integrations with Aviva, with Rating on their auto, and we're working with so many carriers to be able to integrate more, such as claims and whatnot.
Sherif, I'm sure there's brokers on this call that are hearing integrations, APIs, data, carriers, BMSs. And the first thing that goes off my mind is security. So what are we doing extra for security?
Okay, so security is a pretty big deal. I mean, at the end of the day, we're talking about your most valuable asset as a brokerage, which is your data. And in the world today, security and privacy is a pretty big thing. It cannot just be an afterthought. It has to be something that's top of mind and at the forefront. In fact, just last week, Canadian Underwriter announced that Canada ranks 3rd globally for ransomware attacks. So it's a pretty serious thing, and businesses of all types are at risk. And the reality is, a lot of brokers may not know this, but you may be already offside with your own cyber security policy because you haven't done enough to vet some of the your own internal processes, or even some of the partners that you do business with, some of the vendors you do business with. This is such an important thing, because what brokers need to realize is, as a brokerage, you are the custodian of your client's data and their privacy. Even if a third party is using that data for whatever kind of tool out there, if any of the data is flowing through and any of it leaks, it's not the company's ultimate responsibility. It's the brokers. They're the one that are, that have to be in front of the federal privacy commissioner, the provincial privacy commissioner. And look, a lot of times security is not top of mind, for everybody. It certainly is for us with all of our tools, everything we do internally. I mean, we're looking at two-factor authentication for anything, whether it be the tools or what we use internally, encrypting all the data. We have physical security all around. I think all of us carry our passes. You can't just get into the office. We do regular training with all of our staff for security. And this is such an important thing for you as a broker, right? Again, with everybody.
And we've taken it a step further, and actually now not only does everyone at Trufla have to go through two-factor authentication and physical security, but just for any broker or any customer who's looking to access the mobile app, there's also two-factor authentication just to verify that the right person's entering the app and seeing the right information.
Yeah, with encryption and everything. And so we're actually going to be releasing on our website shortly, we're going to be releasing a guide with a simple questionnaire for all brokers. This kind of questionnaire, bigger questionnaires are typically done with larger companies to make sure that data and privacy and whatnot is adhered to and the data is secure. But we want to give this questionnaire to brokers so that you can use it both internally, and you can actually use this questionnaire with other vendors as well to make sure that everyone's taking security seriously and you're protecting your best interest and your most valuable asset, which is your book of business. So I think that wraps it up. That's everything for us. We're actually going to launch a quick video. Thanks to our friends Steve Earle and Mike Bratman for doing this video. DJ, can we run the...
It's no big secret that customer expectations have changed. What customers don't know is that we really don't have the tools to meet those expectations, and they don't care. What True Mobile has done for our brokers is really empowered us with data intelligence that has let us get back to what we do best in providing a kick-ass customer experience.
As a Trufla client for over 6 years, True Mobile empowers our brokerage to be top of mind for our clients. This ensures we are there for them as their advocate in a consistent way, regardless of who their insurance provider is.
So, thank you again for joining us. Please don't forget to claim your free app today.
Yeah, and just as a quick reminder for anyone from Ontario, Alberta, we will be reaching out to you for CE credits, as well as stick around. There will be a Amazon gift card, 2 of them, I believe, gift card giveaways today.
Well, we're going to be doing it today. You don't need to stick around. We're going to do it today, and we're going to notify the winner for the Amazon gift cards. We want to give you some of your time back. Remember, we're starting to deploy this in January. We're scheduling launches now. There's only so many launches that we can do every week. So reserve your spot, claim your app today. Thanks so much for joining us.